I want to talk to young people about applying for jobs. It's hard enough to get a job out here in a small town like Albany, Georgia, or anywhere in the United States. When applying for a job, one thing you need to know is that you need to have a resume. An updated resume showing where you've worked, what kind of awards you've gotten, what kind of training you've gotten, what kind of education you've had. You also need to be presentable. Now, some styles are cool, but cool doesn't get you a job. You need to look professional. You need to look like you want to be the supervisor of any job that you apply for, whether it's working at a fast food place, whether it's washing a car, whether it's working for a city waste plant. You want to look like you want to be the manager of that particular position, because employers will not give you a second look if you don't look like you represent their company well. So my advice to all people, especially young people, is to make sure that you're presentable, you look nice and neat, you dress up. Now, I'm not saying you need to wear a tuxedo, but you need to wear a nice pair of pants, pair of slacks, and some decent shoes. Have your hair combed. If you have long dreads, have them pulled back and tied up nice and neat. But my personal preference would be that you would have a nice, neat haircut. You would shave. You would speak intelligently when you ask questions. When you shake a person's hand, you give them a firm handshake and look in their eye. Ask them how they're doing. Answer all questions with a yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And just be presentable. Be likable. Smile in the interview. Throughout the course of the time, you may feel like you're cheesing or being corny, but you do what you have to do to get the job, to get people to want to put you on their team, on their payroll. Ultimately, you're trying to feed your family, or you're trying to better yourself, whether you're in school paying for college tuition, or whether you have children and you're trying to feed and clothe them, or you have a mortgage and you're trying to pay rent. You need to ultimately get someone to have the faith in you that you can advance their company to another level, because all companies want to make money. All companies want to beat last year's sales, last year's customer counts, and when they hire people with the intention of getting help to achieve those goals. And you have to show that you can help a CEO or a manager or a supervisor, that you're the one that can take these sales or these customer accounts or this production to the next level, or they won't hire you. So you got to look the part. You got to speak intelligently. You got to be on time for your interview. When you fill out the application, whether it's online or handwritten, if you handwrite the application, it has to be neatly written, turned into the proper authorities. Don't take an application up to a fast food place and drop it off with a cashier and think that the cashier is going to turn it into the manager. You can ultimately be taking their job, so why would they want you to get hired? You turn it into the manager that you talk to. If you do it online, you make sure you submit and you have the proper hardware on your computer to submit your application. You submit it and you follow up. Now, don't think that people are just going to call you because your resume is impressive. Most companies and people want to put a face with a resume. They put a voice with a resume. They do a lot of phone interviews now as opposed to in-person interviews as the first initial greet. But you need to follow up. I would say that if you don't hear from a job that you've applied for in about 4 to 7 days, then you need to be calling, or you need to be showing up to follow up. When you show up at a job during a non-busy point, especially if you're trying to get into the food business. You don't want to show up at 12 o'clock. Or you don't want to show up at 5:30, because nobody's going to talk to you. You need to show up between the hours of like 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. to talk with the manager, preferably the general manager or the hiring manager or HR, which is human resources, and you talk with them, show them your face. If they don't have time to see you then, come back again and again. You may seem aggravating, but that's what gets you employed. They see that you really want to work and take the time. Sometimes calling a place, checking on an application shows them that you're lazy and don't want to come up there. Didn't want to take the time and didn't take it serious. So you really need to focus on communicating with your employer in reference to getting a job. My name is Loomis. I hope this is helpful to you. And I want to see all young men and women out in the workforce working successfully and getting the opportunities that they deserve to be able to work. Thank you.